Hi teachers! This is Teacher Eugen po. Good morning po para sa mga nag-a-attend in the morning session and good afternoon naman po para sa mga nag-a-attend in the afternoon session. As much as I would love to be physically present po sa ating session ngayong araw na ito, meron po kasing overlapping schedule and currently, I'm at the division office po sharing an insight about a different topic naman po about storytelling and animation. So, please bear with me as I take technology to my advantage because I wouldn't miss the chance to share the information about the topic that was assigned to me, which is all about social-emotional learning. So let's start our session this morning or afternoon. Our topic's title is Empowering Teachers with Social-Emotional Learning. I do not want to give additional burden po para sa ating lahat because I will not share additional technique, additional strategy. I will just point out kung ano na po yung mga ginagawa natin that actually supports social-emotional learning or social-emotional well-being both of our learners and of course ourselves as teachers. Because as the saying goes, we cannot give what we do not have. Kaya kung hindi po tayo social-emotionally stable, we cannot also impart and expect our learners to learn social-emotional skills. So, our topics objectives are the following po. First, we go back to the definition of social-emotional learning and the 5 core competencies. We will also identify the DepEd policies and provisions that support cell integration inside the classroom. Third would be apply practical cell strategies in day-to-day classroom instruction. Fourth, respond to real-life classroom situations with cell-informed approaches. And lastly, build a plan to sustain cell practices and teacher well-being. The social-emotional learning or cell, yung line po na yan, akala ko when the topic was given to me is something new. Kinabahan po ako talaga. But researching about this topic, na-realize ko that we are actually and currently doing this also sa ating mga day-to-day classroom activities and classroom scenarios na po. So, defining social-emotional learning, cell builds essential skills to become a better person, a better learner inside the classroom. Para maiwasan po yung mga unruly behaviors nila, dapat umpisa pa lang ay na-develop na sa kanila ang social-emotional skills. Social-emotional learning is the process through which learners acquire and apply the knowledge, skills, and attitudes. Hindi lang po yung kailangan nilang, di ba sa GMRC or sa values integration, sinasabi po natin na halimbawa, ang pagiging mapagbigay ay mabuti sa kapwa. Hindi lang po nag-e-end doon, kundi mapapractice din po nila yung skills and eventually magiging part po yun ng kanilang attitude bilang bata, bilang mag-aaral. With DepEd support, teachers can effectively implement cell strategies, fostering a positive and resilient classroom environment. So kapag ang cell daw po ay na-integrate natin ng maayos sa ating mga classroom scenarios at ma-imbibe ng mga learners ang social-emotional learning, mawawala ang negativity sa ating classroom. Mawawala yung bullying, mawawala yung unruly behavior nila, yung mga tantrums, yung pag-aaway-away ng mga bata sa classroom dahil magkakaroon sila ng mas positibong pananaw hindi lamang sa pag-aaral, gayon din sa pakikipagkapwa nila sa kanilang mga kaklase. So with that po, magkakaroon tayo ng harmonious classroom relationship, hindi lang towards learner to learner, pati na rin po teacher to learner. So next po, ano ba ang benefits or what are the benefits of cell to students? So first, it enhances their well-being and success. Kapag may peace of mind po sila sa kanilang klase na safe dito, welcoming environment, then it will lead towards a successful acquisition of the knowledge and skills na gusto po nating ituro sa kanila. Next, cell improves classroom climate, learner engagement, and academic outcomes. Ayan, paulit-ulit po ito. Mas magiging payapa ang ating classroom, peace of mind sa mga bata, peace of mind din sa mga teachers, at syempre peace of mind din sa mga results ng examinations na mga paparating at mga darating pa. Next, it supports mental health, resilience, and inclusive education practices. So kung ang mga bata po natin ay maaluwan sa kanilang socio-emotional learning o sa kanilang socio-emotional skills, ibig sabihin open-minded sila, hindi sila mabilis mang-away ng kaklase, hindi sila mabilis ma-burden o ma-information overload dahil kaya nilang i-manage yung kanilang learning, kaya nilang i-manage yung kanilang emotions, then they will become resilient learners. Kayang-kaya po nila kahit ano pang challenges ang dumating sa kanilang buhay mag-aaral. And kung ang ating mga class ay learners ay ganon, then the inclusive education practices o yung pag-i-include po ng mga learners with special abilities and special needs ay mas magiging successful dahil lahat sila ay magiging supportive para matulungan at mapabilang ng higit ang kanilang mga kaklase na may kakaiba o special na mga pangangailangan. Maiiwasan na ibuli sila, maiiwasan na mabehind sila sa klase kasi nariyan ang kanilang mga kamag-aral at emotionally nauunawaan nila ang sitwasyon ng bawat isa. And lastly, this aligns with DepEd priorities on learner well-being and the matatag curriculum. Of course, the social-emotional learning, kaya po natin binabahagi ngayong araw, ay dahil ito ay parte ng na ma-incline natin ang day-to-day activities into the matatag curriculum, and we are also looking after the overall well-being of our learners. And the role of the teachers, as always, is to be facilitators of emotional growth. When we are teaching the different topics found in the curriculum, tayo ay mga facilitators of learning. And now, for social-emotional learning, ang role naman natin ay facilitators of emotional growth. We do not just hone the intelligence quotient of our learners, yung IQ, but acquiring and building the emotional growth of our learners starting from the kindergarten up to grade 12 is really dependent on the adult they are with. And the adults that they are with inside the classroom po ay tayo pong mga teachers. So we facilitate, we empower, we help them to grow emotionally as well. Hindi lang sapat yung, okay, alam na nila yung lesson, magaling silang mag-subtraction, multiplication, kayang-kaya nila ang physics, biology, kayang-kaya nilang sabihin ang mga big words with very rich vocabulary. But let's always look at how are they as a person. Their emotional quotient as well should be growing together with the knowledge that they are acquiring from day-to-day learning activities. So, di ba, big challenge po? Pero it's easy because ginagawa nyo na po ito sa inyong mga classroom. Let's now move forward to the 5 core self-competencies. First is the self-awareness. Self-awareness is recognizing their emotion, understanding personal strengths. Dapat po sila ay aware sa ano ang kaya at hindi nila kayang gawin. Pag aware po sila sa kaya nilang gawin, then they become confident on doing that inside the classroom or even outside the classroom. Pag aware din po sila sa mga bagay na hindi pa nila kayang gawin, then they will be more confident in asking help. Dapat po hindi sila natatakot na humingi ng tulong. Hindi man sa guro, sa kanilang kapwa. Dapat sa mga bagay na hindi rin po nila kaya, maging aware sila para alam nila kung saan sila magsisimula na i-hone o i-build yung skill na yon. Likewise, the teachers din po, pag ang bata aware sa hindi nila kayang gawin at hindi sila takot magsabi na, ma'am, parang hindi ko pa to kaya or hindi ko pa to lubusang nauunawaan. Dapat po tayo maging open na, hindi, tinuro ko na yan kahapon na. Ba't di mo pa rin alam? Oh, nagkakaroon sila ng fear to recognize their weakness. Pero pag sinabi mo, ay anak, ganun ba? Sige, mamaya may mga activities pa tayo para mas maunawaan mo yan, mas matutuhan mo yan, di ba? Mawawalan po sila ng fear na lumapit sa'yo to seek for help in the future. Next is self-management. Regulating their emotions and coping with challenges effectively. Ito po yung minsan nagiging problema kung bakit meron tayong mga bullying, kung bakit may mga nag-aaway sa loob ng classroom is because they cannot manage their own emotions. Hindi po sila makakope sa mga challenges kahit para sa atin, simpleng challenge lang yan na halimbawa hindi makadaan sa aisle kasi may mga gamit yung classmate, so hindi siya makadaan. Ang gagawin niya, sisipain. So doon po nagsa-start yung bullying, sisipain, tapos yung mag-aaral na nasipaan ng gamit, magagalit, magre-react, magsusumbong sa magulang, yung magulang magagalit na sa magulang, magsusumbong sa guidance. So domino effect po yun, di ba? Simpleng bagay lang, nagiging malaking problema kung hindi nila kayang ma-manage ang kanilang sarili. So, what teachers or educators can do to help them manage their emotions is for us to do check-ins. Check-ins natin sila pag umaga. During the pandemic po, nagsimula akong magtanong, before I actually share the topic to my learners, nung pandemic natutuhan kong magtanong kung kamusta sila today. Yun lang, kamusta kayo? So magkukwento sila, masaya, malungkot, may hindi magsasalita, may yuyuko. So from those observations, makikita mo na, eto parang may pinagdadaanan, eto parang may pinagdadaanan, eto masaya, eto parang ang dami niyang energy, pasabog yung energy niya. So parang kailangan ko muna tong kalmahin. So mga ganun po, at least everyone can start on a same pace. So, pwede po nating, sige, inhale muna tayong lahat, exhale, inhale, exhale, deep breathing. That's just 10 seconds or 15 seconds po na mag-inhale, exhale. It won't take up much of your time and magiging same pace pa po kayong lahat ng inyong mga learners. Kasi pagka unruly sila, may mga pasabog yung energy, hindi mo na makontrol, and then there's that kid na nakayuko lang at walang focus because may nangyari siguro at home or on the way to school, tapos bigla kang magtuturo. So parang lahat sila disoriented, parang walang focus sa atin. But when we help them manage themselves na, okay, we're in a class, I know that you're sad, you have a family ganito, but first we have to focus here, and later on you can talk to me about whatever it is na bothering you, kung di nyo man nagets yung lesson kahapon or such. So give time to help them manage themselves as well and manage their emotions. Kasi kinder to grade 12, lahat po yan learners, lahat po yan bata pa, even they're already young adults. Meron pa rin sa kanilang part na hindi pa nila ma-manage ang kanilang sariling emotion, ang sarili nila, ang hindi nila naiintindihan, or they cannot voice out what kind of the emotions they are feeling. So as adults, as teachers, should make a way to help them manage their emotions and their learning. Our next is social awareness. Yes, dear teachers, hindi lang po dapat at hindi lang po nagtatapos na they are aware of themselves and aware of their own learning and can manage their own learning. They should also be aware of everyone around them. That includes their classmates, their teachers, their the guards in our school, and everyone else too. Dahil kapag sila po ay socially aware, they will be able to understand others' perspective and fostering empathy. It's not always them na tama. Hindi lahat na naiisip nilang gawin o sabihin ay tama. And tayong mga teachers must do something to correct the way they think, or to empower and broaden their social awareness skills. Katulad ng, halimbawa po sa kindergarten, meron po kaming isang lesson about the people in the school, and isang araw po dun sa week na yon, pinapagawa namin sila ng letter to the utility, letter to the guards, letter to the other teachers and to their classmates, thanking them for the service that they are rendering po sa school. So that's part of social awareness as well. I know in the higher grades, meron din po yan sa kanilang iba't iba pang subjects, pag-appreciate sa mga community helpers and other people around them. Especially sa mga kasama nila araw-araw sa classroom, which are their classmates. Ayan. And next naman po is relationship skills. Part of social awareness is to hone harmonious relationship skills in and out the classroom. This includes communicating, cooperating, and resolving conflict. That's why we have group activities, paired work, trio work. So yung pong mga activities na yun na ginagawa na po natin hones already or already hones their relationship skills. Nakakapili sila ng magle-leader, ng magiging secretary, ng mga gagawa nito, na distribute nila yung mga tasks among themselves. So that's part of honing the relationship skills of our learners, including communicating with each other. Hindi po natatapos ang communicating among their peers. This also should transpire in their good communication skills with their teachers, kung paano po nila kayo kausapin bilang mga teachers nila. And then resolving conflict. Pag halimbawa sa group work may naging conflict, they should manage to handle that gracefully at hindi magiging awayan or abangan sa labas, mga ganyan. So, dapat kaya nilang erase agad yung mga concern nila. Dapat tayo ma-facilitate po natin yun na if you have any concerns, talk it out to your group. If you cannot resolve it to your group, then approach me. Dito lang ako. I'll just wait for you here na matapos, na makapag-usap, ganyan. So, always reassure them that everything that is happening, challenge, conflict, lahat yan, ng negativity na nangyayari, are things that can be resolved. Yun po talaga yung going to this presentation. Yun yung parang pinaka-meat ng aking presentation. Every problem can be resolved. The unruly behavior of the learners, the bullying cases, everything can be resolved if our learners already know na kayang ma-resolve ito peacefully or positively and hindi sa dahas. Hindi lahat nadadaan sa bullying, hindi lahat nare-resolve sa aabangan sa labas or something like that. And last of the core competencies of CEL is the responsible decision making. Dito po yun papasok na malalaman nila na hindi pala dapat bugbugin para maging friends kami or para sumunod siya sa akin or para ipakita na mas powerful ako sa kanya. Dapat may ethical, may safe, and constructive ang mga choices na meron sila. And that will happen if we give them positive options as well inside the classroom. Katulad po ng kaninang sinabi, we should facilitate na makapag-isip sila ng mga positive things to resolve the different conflicts, the different challenges, the different difficulties that they can feel or they will be feeling inside the classroom. So, yun po yung mga core competencies of CEL. Diba? We encapsulate this with a simpler term na everything can be resolved if they are in a safe place or they feel that they are in a safe place and if they feel that they are with an adult that will make them feel safe, loved, accepted, and secure. Tayo po yun. Huwag tayo ang unang magbibigay ng fear sa kanila, but rather, alam ko, may pinagdadaanan din tayo, di ba? May mga moments din tayo na we are down, we are in a bad day, a bad mood, a bad feeling. But we should remember na we have to be the first ones to make them feel safe inside the classroom. And with that feeling of security, nakasama po nila tayong mga teachers sa classroom, magkakaroon po sila ng will to open up and to be vulnerable, na hindi sila laging matapang lang, that they can be weak, they can be it's okay that they do not know because you are there to guide them eventually na malalaman nila at matututuhan nila yung mga bagay. And they can manage their emotions. Maiiwasan ng chaos inside the classroom. When a conflict arise, hindi chaos or bullying ang una nilang maiisip, kundi they can resolve conflicts and challenges right at the bat. So, it's a win-win. Win-win po yun para sa kanila. It's not a skill that they can use only in the classroom, but a skill that they can use in their life as they go outside the classroom, which they cannot realize it yet right now. But in the future, they will look back and thank you. Ay, buti na lang, tinuruan ako ni ma'am na i-regulate yung emotion ko kasi naiinis na talaga ako pero hindi ko na ipakita dito. Na-regulate ko siya, hindi ako napahiya in public. So, thank you talaga kay ma'am na naturuan ako na mag-inhale, exhale muna bago mag-make ng decision and things like that. Okay. Excuse me po. Now, let's move forward on how the DepEd supports CEL. These are the DepEd's key policies, empowering teachers with official guidelines. So, the DepEd or the Department of Education's policies provide a solid framework for integrating socio-emotional learning into classrooms, ensuring a supportive environment for both teachers and students to thrive. So, hindi lang naman students po ang magbe-benefit dito. Paulit-ulit ko yung sinasabi. Because when you have a peaceful class, when you have learners with positive perspective in life, na kayang i-manage ang sarili nila, then it's also a win for you as a teacher kasi hindi ka ma-stress, hindi ka ma-over-fatigue, hindi ka ma-overwork, hindi mo kinakailangan ng magpa-check up kapag nagkakasakit ka. Because sometimes yung mga sakit po natin is due to the stress that we are also feeling maybe inside the classroom, outside the classroom, in our environment. So, you should always look for yourself as well, the way DepEd is looking out for us as well. So, there are DepEd issuances that integrate CEL, psychological support, and school-based mental health. CEL is also embedded in learning sessions and teacher professional development initiatives such as what we are having po right now. So, what are the different DepEd policies that include CEL? So, ito po yung mga yon. These are just some of the many DepEd issuances, policies, or memorandum that supports the mental health, the socio-emotional well-being, and that wants us to really integrate, not just integrate na in a sense na nilagay natin sa lesson plan, but to really actualize it inside our classroom so that we will be having Kerishans or Keris learners that are socio-emotionally stable when they face the future challenges after school. Kasi what we teach in the classroom naman po will not end in the classroom. Even yung simple 1+1 nagagamit natin after the classroom. So why not give them practical learning embedded in our day-to-day teaching for them to be able to be resilient individuals as they go on after po nilang mag-aral sa Keris. So, one line that I would like to share with you from among all the DepEd orders that I have came across is this: the implementation of this policy ensures a safe and nurturing environment for all learners. Yan po yung sinasabi ko kanina. Inside the classroom, they must feel that it is a safe place for them. Yung walang predators inside the classroom, yung walang mang-aaway sa kanila inside the classroom, yung walang teachers na ida-down pa sila lalo when they do not know or they do not understand yet the lesson, but rather as safe and nurturing. They have their teachers that would like to nurture them, not only in their cognitive skills, but also in their emotional skills as well. And the classmates that they have inside the classroom are classmates that will make them feel loved and that will be their friends for a long time, hindi lang sa class na to. Diba kayo rin po, meron kayong mga classmates in the elementary days pa ninyo that made you feel safe, na hanggang ngayon, pagkasama nyo sila, you just listen up and be safe. So that kind of environment, that kind of learning environment is what we want for our learners in the future. Or in our learners right now and in the future. Okay. So, what are the practical tips for daily CEL? Sa mga araw-araw po natin ginagawa, I know a thing or two from this that I will be sharing is already a practice in your class. And if not, I hope it will be. So, first is the morning meetings for connection, or para sa mga panghapon, afternoon meetings for connection. So, build their trust daily. Kamustahin nyo sila? Habang pumapasok sila, kamusta? They will show you their new bag, they will show you their new shoes or whatever. They will share random things. Listen to those. If not really listen na you will listen to the tiniest details, hear them. Pakinggan nyo. Huwag yung sasabihin na, sige, mamaya na yan. Ay, ang dami sinasabi. Diba? those simple things matter because that's part of how they build their trust towards the teachers, towards you. Pag umpisa pa lang, as they arrive, you already say, wag maingay, punta doon, umupo na, kunin ng notebook or book, ganyan, diba? Sulat na yung nasa board, ganyan. So, hindi tayo naka-connect agad sa kanila. Hindi nila na-feel na their emotions, their sharing is valid and important. Hindi naman po yun magtatagal into 15 minutes, 5 minutes. A minute or 2 habang pumapasok sila, habang nag-aayos ng gamit, habang naglalabas ng notebook, habang naglalabas ng mga books nila. At magtanong tayo, kamusta sa bahay nila? Kamusta sila? In general, kamusta kayo? Or listen to them, hear them out. Next, stories and role-playing to teach them empathy. We always do that. Mga role-playing po natin, mga group activities man or improvisation, yan, ginagawa na po natin yan. So that is part, hindi lang ng grading system natin, hindi lang ng mga performance tasks natin, but it's a part of making them socio-emotionally growing as a person, as a learner. Next, encouraging reflection and expression. Ako po, as a kindergarten teacher, even nung pandemic, I never leave the classroom or never leave the online class na hindi ko sila na papag-recite isa-isa. Not to see if they're good, hindi para malaman kung mahusay sila, na alam nila yung mga tinuturo, natutuhan nila yung mga tinuturo, but for them to express themselves. Kasi part of literacy development is allowing learners to verbalize what they feel and think. So when we encourage them to express their emotions, to reflect on the practices that you have shared, to reflect on the stories that are read to them, then we already encourage self-awareness. Kasi yung naramdaman, naisip nila, kaya nilang i-express sa atin. Kaya nilang express sa mga classmates nila. So that's part. Yung recitation po, di ba it's graded? Pag nasagot nila ng tama, may grade sila. What if we also give them credit for expressing themselves? Kahit hindi naman kompleto o hindi naman 100% na tama yung sinasabi nila. As I have also observed, yung mga sa classroom observation po and pati nung nagkaroon ng EduCampion na observation, nakita ko po yung mga ibang teachers din in the junior high school and in the elementary na ginagawa ito. No, nakakatuwa, and I hope we all do that, to encourage them to speak kahit mali, encourage them to speak kahit kulang, and give them credit for that. Because, sabi nga, naalala ko, tumatak sa akin to, kinuwento sa akin ng isang junior high school teacher na na-observe po namin, yung batang yun daw hindi nagsasalita. So, nung nag-recite siya, pumalakpak yung buong class. So, kami, observers, hindi namin alam what happens daily. So, them supporting their classmates is already a big win. That class is socio-emotionally ready. Hindi lang for inclusion ng inclusive education, kundi inclusion of their classmates in different aspects of life. They do not see them, ay mahihain yan, huwag natin pagsagutin, or mahihain yan, tawanan natin when he speaks. But when that classmate stood up and the class applaud him for reciting and expressing himself, wow, that class is growing socio-emotionally. So, dapat lahat ng classroom po ganun. Yung safe silang magsalita lahat. Hindi yung napapahiya sila when they say something that is not according to our expectations from them. But, of course, when they share something na nakagalit-galit, wag naman, wow, very good. Kahit nakakagalit yung sinabi or very negative yung sinabi or nakakapagpahiya yung sinabi, wala silang i-applaud of that, for that, of course. So, let's only applaud the good things that they do inside our classroom. And for those not so good things, we have to redirect them to the right path of learning. Other practical tips is to integrate CEL in our academic lessons. Meron po yan sa ating mga DLL, DLP, sa mga binibigay po sa ating mga lesson exemplars that's already integrated. Teach and model emotional vocabulary. Yan, ito, napakaganda po nito. Teach emotion words explicitly like calm, frustrated, hopeful, proud. Sometimes we only ask them if they're happy or sad. We don't ask them if they're excited. We don't ask them if they're anxious. We don't ask them if they're ano pa ba, depressed, ganyan, because they don't know how to categorize their emotions yet. But when we introduce in our class, yung mga feelings na yon, yung mga words na yon, they are calm. Kasi minsan kalma ka lang naman, chill ka lang. Okay, nag-overheat na po ang ating camera. So going back, let's teach them the words to express themselves. Ayun, kagaya ng huli ko yatang sinasabi kanina, paano kung kalma lang siya, chill lang siya, hindi naman siya happy, hindi rin naman siya sad. So, saan ako dun lulugar, ma'am or sir? Parang kakaroon pa ng confusion. So, let's also acknowledge those learners na chill lang, kalma lang, di ba? Na hindi naman talaga sila happy. Alam nga naman sabihin nila happy sila or sad sila. Eh, hindi nga po. So, let's teach them those kind of words for them to identify what they are really feeling at the moment. We can say that they are proud. Sino dito yung proud? Kasi gawa yung assignment. Yan, very good. Proud kayo. Dapat talaga maging proud kayo kasi ginawa niyo yung assignment niyo, nagamit niyo yung mga natutuhan niyo kahapon, ganyan. Sino dito yung na-frustrate kasi nahirapan silang mag-solve ng assignment or nahirapan silang gumawa ng essay sa bahay or nahirapan silang mag-interview sa mga assignment natin, ganyan. So, let's not just focus on the happy and the sad. Nung Saturday po, sa British School Manila, nung nag-training kami, meron pong shinare na meron pong shinare na mood generator, mood something. So, if flash ko po dito, yan, which is merong green zone, may red zone, may yellow zone, and may blue zone, signifying the different emotions that they can feel in the daily activities, daily events in their life, in the classroom. So, when we acknowledge those feelings, hindi lang happy or sad, mas magiging empowered sila and aware sila sa ano talaga ang nararamdaman nila at that moment. So, let's start on introducing different vocabularies about emotions po para mas ma-describe nila what they are actually feeling. Next is the cooperative learning and relationship skills. We always do that sa group activities po natin sa klase. The relationship skills is also honed by having the leader role, the secretary role. Ayan. So, we also train them to give feedback constructively. Let's ask them, kamusta yung leader nyo? You evaluate your leaders or give stars or score to your leaders as well. That way, they will be able to acknowledge also the ambag of their leaders and the ambag of their other group mates kung ine-evaluate nilang isa't isa by giving them positive criticism. Yung magaganda din po. And yung not so maganda para eventually mabago and ma-hone yung skill na hindi masyadong maganda na napansin nila sa bawat isa. Now, let's move forward po to cell in action. The real life situations that will really need the cell to act upon it. So first, if there's conflict, pag may conflict po kayong nararanasan sa class or sa mga estudyante ninyo, ano ang dapat natin gawin? Dapat ang ituro natin ay resolution, solution-based, solution-oriented. I remember one master teacher always telling us or me, wag na nating isipin yung problema, ano ang solusyon. So, thank you so much, Ma'am Jo. Nagagamit ko rin yan sa aking real life scenarios. Hindi na tayo magdodwell what is the problem, we dwell on how we solve that problem. So, yun po ang isa sa mga magagandang ituro natin sa ating mga learners. Okay, wala kang assignment. Okay, napunit niya yung worksheet mo. Okay, natapunan niya ng water yung notebook or book mo. So, what's the next action that we should do? Diba? Kesa magsumbong ka, let's get the basahan. Punasan natin yung table. Kesa magsumbong ka, kesa mag-away kayo, pagtulungan yung punasan yan. Kaysa magsumbong ka, mag-away kayo, etong scotch tape, i-tape nyo yung napunit ng classmate. Simple things like that already teaches them to resolve their own conflict. Not only inside the classroom, madadala nila yan when they are outside the classroom as well. Next is for us teachers to support them, to provide tools for coping with anxiety and learning environments rather. Pag may mga estudyante tayong nakikita natin na very vulnerable, very reserved, very ano pa ba pwede nating term. So, yung mga ganong learners po, what we should do is to provide support. Support in a positive way. Not support na bibigyan natin o gagawan natin sila ng iti-take advantage natin yung vulnerability nila to our advantage. No. Please stop doing that. Pag may learners tayong vulnerable and na alam natin, kunya halimbawa, may kakulangan sila financially, then we give them money for them to do this in our own advantage and we take advantage of that learner. No. That's not a good practice of SEL. Also, when we see a learner na emotionally unstable because of a broken family and looking for a father or mother figure, and then we take advantage of that learner, we become predators of him or her being a child, being a learner. Yan, medyo sensitive po yun. Huwag nating gagawin yun ha. Hindi po yun part of SEL na sinusupport ng DepEd. Yung mga ganong kinds of adults and educators na nagtitake advantage po should not be in the department. Okay, next is the regulation. We encourage them mindfulness to manage emotions effectively. Kagaya po ng mga shinare ko kanina, when they are being loud, when they are being, overly stimulated, yan, nararanasan po namin yan sa kindergarten, masyadong maraming energy, sabog-sabog energy. So what we do, we regulate that kind of emotion by doing attention grabber activities. Ako, I do, okay everybody, shake up, shake down, one big balloon, and clap, clap, clap. Shake up, shake down, one big balloon, and shh, shh, shh. So they become quiet. They regulate themselves. Other teachers, they do the catch a bubble in your mouth. Then they become quiet. They become calm. Others, they do smell the flower. Diba? Ito po yung mga usual nating ginagawa. Smell the flower, blow the candle. Or that's a simple inhale, exhale, or deep breathing activity that's making them mindful that the energy that they're throwing upon us is already, sabog, and we have to calm down para makapag move on tayo sa next nating gagawin. So there are so many things. Attention grabber activities na pwede po nilang matutuhan at na ifa-facilitate natin sa classroom. So that's part of regulation. Hindi laging magulo, maingay, hindi laging sabog ang energy, kundi there are times that we need them to be calm. There are times that they needed to, just be quiet and feel themselves. Next, other tools for self-empowerment, we have helping them manage, yun nga po, sinare ko kanina, helping them manage their emotions, helping them express what they really feel at the moment. Next is gratitude, making them grateful for the different things around them. Para mas more on positive po yung nasa isip nila. They be grateful for the weather, they be grateful for the teacher, they be grateful for the tricycle driver that make them hatid sa school. Yan. And next is mindfulness. Promotes calmness, kagaya po nung kanina. Kagaya po nung pag-regulate nila ng emotions nila, they become mindful of their surroundings and bring their focus back to learning. So there are so many practical tools and resources for us to regulate and support the social-emotional learning of our learners. Mood meter, calm corner, medyo too idealistic, but actually we can do it in our classroom. The calm corner doesn't need to be a space. The calm corner can be a seat. Calm seat, may isang seat doon. Pag frustrated sila, just go to that seat, face the wall, or go out, breathe in, breathe out. So short guided breathing, and then the different cell objectives in our lesson plans. Yan, gawin po natin talaga yan, wag lang siya sa lesson plan natin. Yung mga content focus na hindi siya measurable by scores, but measurable by actions that they do. Let's focus on that po. Okay, let's move forward to what are the things that where we can integrate or incorporate cell. First is during the check-in or the warm-up. As I mentioned earlier, as they enter, when they are sharing their stories, hear them. You don't necessarily need to listen, ganyan, makinig ka ganun na magsa-stop ang mundo mo rin just to listen. Hear them out. Pakinggan. Pakinggan nyo sila while they share that. Of course, habang pinapakinggan mo naman sila, you will capture a thing or two. You can interact. You can ask question. You can say, oh, ganda niyan na. You can react. Next is, when you do the content, when you do your content or you do the topic, yan, pag may content na tayong sinasabi, we incorporate on those topics the things that they can actually apply. Make it make sense to them. Next is guided practice. Kung hindi man natin seamlessly integrate sa ating mga topic, halimbawa may mga topics na it's really hard to make it make sense to them. It's really hard to find a real life scenario kung paano nila yun maa-apply sa buhay nila ngayon. So, we guide them. We can let them interview their classmates na may experience about the topic. We can let them interview their family. Yan, assignment, home activity. Interview their family. Interview an individual. Or watch a movie, watch a short clip. So, yan yung mga pwede nating i-provide for them to strengthen the cell or the social-emotional learning with the different topics that we have. Of course, not every topic is the same. Of course, not every subject is the same na pwede nating i-integrate anytime. But there will be a part of your topic, about a part of your lesson that cell is actually very integratable. Integratable! Yung pwede po nating i-integrate yung cell. Meron yan. If there's a topic na pwede nating integrate yung cell, then let's do it. Because kagaya sinabi ko po kanina, hindi lang IQ ang kailangan nating i-hone, but also their EQ. But then of course po, kahit gaano natin i-integrate ang mga different activities to promote cell, there will still be some children who cannot acquire kung paano nila i-regulate ang kanilang emotions at ang kanilang mga sarili. So here are some techniques on how to address the challenging behaviors with cell. First po is we observe the child, we let him be. Baka yun yung alam niyang magpapakalma sa kanya. But of course, let us practice na ang safety measures as well. Na kahit nagtatantrum siya o may iba siyang nararamdaman, hindi siya na hurt ang sarili niya at hindi rin siya nakaka-hurt sa kanyang mga kaklase at sa kanyang guro. And pag medyo nagkaroon na po ng signs na exhausted na siya, mapapagod na siya, titigil po yan sila. At titignan nila kung nagre-react ba ang kanilang paligid. So what we can do is we intervene at that point. Ayaw po nating salubungin din ng mataas na emotion, yung mataas na emotion na meron sila at the moment. So we lower down our voice, we tone down our voice, we give them calm words such as, okay ka na ba? Are you done? Anong kailangan mo? Nahihirapan ka ba? Let us help them verbalize what they feel or what they think they need. So, nahihirapan ka ba? Hindi mo ba nagawa yung assignment mo? Meron bang kumuha ng gamit mo? So, let us help them in expressing what they currently need or currently feel. And after that, let's augment. Bigyan po natin ng solusyon. For example, kaya siya nagagalit kasi wala sa bag niya yung assignment niya. So, let's offer solution. Gusto mo bang gawin muna? Bigyan kitang oras, mga 5 minutes para matapos mo. Or, let's teach the skill. Kunyari, hindi po niya masagot yung mga mathematical equation. let's simplify and teach the basic or the prerequisite skill para mas maunawaan niya yung next skill to be learned. And then, continue it with practice. Yan, paulit mo. O sige nga, ito pa. Pwede mo ba itong ulitin? O kaya kung pinag-deep breathing mo siya, sige nga anak, isa pang set ulit. Inhale pa tayo, exhale. So, i-teach natin yung mga practices na yan. And then, pag okay na siya, later on, nakaka-cope up na siya, let's do a follow-up. Kamusta ka anak? Nakatulong ba yung inhale, exhale? Nakatulong ba yung binigyan kita ng oras? So, let's follow up on his or her emotion para hindi mag-e-end or magsa-stop lang sa isang phase because you were able to help them express themselves and process what they feel. You were able to give them supplementary activities to teach the skill that they are frustrated about. And at the same time, you were able to follow up kung okay na ba siya, nakukuha na ba niya ng tama, kaya niya na bang gawin on his or her own. So, that's an example of replacing the punitive responses. Usually po kasi parang punishment. Sige, pag umiyak ka, sumo kita sa mama mo. Sige, pag umiyak ka pa dyan, o sige, itapon mo yan. Itapon mo yan, papalabasin kita ng classroom. So, instead of those responses, we gave them restorative conversations as appropriate. Of course, hindi po laging positive ang pwede nating i-employ because there are some na aabuso din po yung positivity na yan. So when the child reaches the boundary na teka, parang tineteknikan na ako nito then that's the time we give them a more firm way of speaking, a more firm approach, or a more firm na decisions from you as a teacher kung paano mo i-handle yung emotions na yung emotion na meron yung batang yon. And then after that, we don't stop inside the classroom. We have to inform the parents. We have to inform the guardian. We have to involve the parents or guardians, and if necessary, pwede nating tulungan at i-suggest na pumunta siya sa guidance at kausapin siya ng ating mga guidance teachers. Pero as much as possible, we already resolve it in the classroom. Kumbaga, supplementary na lang yung guidance. For example, supplementary na lang sila to help the child process his or her emotion. Kasi sa classroom pa lang, na-help na natin sila, natulungan na natin sila to regulate and to be aware of their own emotion para mas maging handa silang mag-learn ulit sa mga susunod mo pang topics, sa mga susunod mo pang lessons na ituturo sa kanila. When the negative behavior becomes repetitive, or when the negative attitude towards learning becomes repetitive at hindi nagiging positibo, hindi siya nagto-turn around. Kumbaga, maybe there's something lacking. Maybe the follow-up from the parents at home is lacking. Maybe the feeling of being safe and included by their classmates is feeling lacking. So, yun po yung kasi it's not just a one-size-fits-all na strategy. We have to ensure na lahat ng nakapaligid dun sa mga batang yan at sa mga estudyante natin will be towards one target of making that child emotionally ready to be included in the class and to eventually learn the different lessons and activities that they are expected to. Our roles as facilitators of emotional growth doesn't end inside the classroom. Let us share our best practices to our colleagues. Let's encourage small cell practices and incorporate simple activities daily in our classroom learning, in our classroom teaching rather. Share our practices to our peers, to our co-teachers, and celebrate the achievement of that learner, not just in terms of academic achievement, but also in terms of their emotional growth. Praise them, applaud them for being a responsible person, for changing from ganitong attitude to ganito, from dati hindi ka nagagawa ng assignment, ngayon napakasipag niya na nagpapasa, although it's not with a perfect mark, but the fact that they already changed their behavior or attitude towards learning is already a big win and something to applaud of about that child. Next is to advocate for student well-being. So support a positive classroom culture. We all want that. I know that we all want a classroom climate that is positive, a classroom climate that is welcoming to all our learners and to all their classmates as well. Among our learners and the teacher-to-student relationship. And aside from all the people in the school helping each other towards achieving emotional growth for our learners, we also have to be partners with our parents and other stakeholders in the community in order to raise a child holistically. Partnership ang home at school in order to build emotional growth to our learners. Next is to send simple home activities that will include the family, like an interview, a talk with the parents, a chat with the lolo, the lola, an interview with adults like like the community helpers. Yan. So pwede nating bigyan sila ng additional tasks to continue learning and to be socially responsible, not only in school, pero pati na rin sa community at sa tahanan. And lastly, we can also link with community mental health resources when needed. There are a lot of resources. Meron pong mga hotlines din yan. If ever the child needs to talk with a specialist, so there are hotlines in our Department of Health, in the World Health Organization, and even in our LGU, meron po yung mga advocates for social well-being of our learners or for the mental health of the youth. Meron pong dedicated na department or committees for that. If the problem isn't easily resolved because there are layers of underlying trauma that the child felt, that's why he or she cannot regulate him or herself and his or her emotions. And then after those linkages, we have to still monitor and sustain CEL. It doesn't end with one lesson, with one quarter or one grading period or one school year. It should be continuous. So we have to include CEL indicators in the SIP. And then, actually, yung SIP naman po natin, very holistic. We are blessed that we have a very holistic SIP in our school. We can also collect quarterly CEL snapshots. I believe before it was being done, yung homeschool homeroom guidance po, yan, continuous naman po yan. So that's a big part of CEL. Yung mga random incident reports or anecdotals ng teachers, yan, those are part of the evidences or part of the artifacts that we have to see para makita natin yung trend of the socio-emotional well-being of our learners as well. And lastly, provide continuing learning and development for teachers and involve school heads for leadership support. So blessed enough that we also have topics such as what I am discussing right now for us to be aware that it's not just the IQ, or not really aware because I know we are all aware, for us to be reminded that it's not just about the topics or lessons to be discussed ang kailangan nilang ma-acquire, but rather we have to help them to be emotionally and socially prepared for what is waiting for them as they go out in our school, as they go out in our classroom. I hope that going back into our classrooms, we will become more inspired to make the social-emotional learning flourish and really present in our day-to-day activities, because we don't just want learners that are intellectually developed. We also want learners that are emotionally and socially developed. And we can only do that by being the first models that we also, kay tayong mga teachers, ay socially and emotionally ready to face them, ready to listen to them, ready to be there for them when they need us, para hindi po magkakaroon ng climate of fear sa ating classroom, but rather a climate of positivity where learners can easily ask help from their teachers because they know that their teachers is rooting or are rooting for them. Their teachers are here to help them. Their teachers are here to be one in the process of learning about themselves and learning about their own development and regulating themselves as well. Aside from being a model to our learners, we have to build professional learning communities and reflect and practice the cell practices. And this is part of our relax session. I do hope that in our grade levels or subject areas, as we convene together, we can share the best practices that are applicable to our grade level, to our subject areas, on how we develop the social-emotional well-being of every learner that is actually waiting for us to help them. And lastly, encourage peer coaching and short debriefs after stressful days. This one is very much needed of our teachers. I know that every day can be stressful. Some days are highs, some days are lows, but we are here with each other. Minsan nagde-debrief tayo sa isa't isa, yung uupo ka na lang sa tabi ng colleague mo and say, "Hi, grabe talaga ang araw na to, grabe." And then once you vent out all those emotions, then you feel lighter. Para pag uwi mo sa bahay, you don't bring home the burden or the stress that you have in order for you to have a happy time with your family. We encourage debriefs with our colleagues. Yung simpleng kwentuhan po, hindi para pag-usapan ng buhay ng mga learners natin, kundi para makapag-release tayo ng emotions din natin. And I know that our colleagues are there to support. Our colleagues are also there to listen and hear us. Minsan, we don't need their response, diba? Hindi natin kailangan na magpayo sila sa atin or mag-advise sila sa atin. Sometimes, we just need someone that we can talk to, someone that will listen and will hear us, and then eventually, everything will feel light. Let's be each other's source of relaxation and happiness. And with that, teachers, I hope and pray that our classrooms become a safe place for our learners, for them to enjoy their day-to-day activities so that the teaching and learning process will be a successful one. And that I also hope and pray that we may also feel safe as we go to school. We may also feel safe with each other and with our learners because we are doing our job. And this is not just a job, it's a passion project for each one of us, a passion project to help each of our learners, and a passion project to actually change the education system one child at a time. Once again, I am Teacher Yujan Gazingan Prasha po. Thank you so much for listening and have a wonderful day po. Bye!